Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
My message to Londoners and visitors to our great city is to be calm and vigilant today. You will see an increased police presence today, including armed officers and uniformed officers. There's no reason to be alarmed by this. We are the safest global city in the world. You saw last night, as a consequence of our planning, our preparation and the rehearsals that take place, the swift response from the emergency services tackling the terrorists, but also helping the injured.
Okay, so there is the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, saying that you will see more police presence on the street, and please don't be alarmed. They're just doing their job. They're going to keep you safe, and we have things to check out and investigations to run, and I just don't want you. Okay, and so idiot boy Donald Trump decided that he would take this opportunity of a terrorist attack in London where 3 men armed with fake suicide belts and real knives and a van took the van, mowed down people on London Bridge, drove the van to a nearby commerce center, an open park where people gather, on Saturday night for fun and stuff. One guy, I saw him fleeing the terrorists with a beer in his hand. Couldn't be more proud of you. Couldn't be more proud of you. That's the London way. Yeah, he still had a pint of beer in his hand, running. But anyway, so a guy with a van, obviously you know the story, I think, I hope, I don't know, plowed into people on London Bridge. And then they drove to a park area, and they got out of the van, these 3 guys did, armed with knives. And they started stabbing people, and it was really pretty ugly. And the cops were able to locate and subdue, well, they killed them, all 3 of them, within 8 minutes. So our president decided to take that opportunity to attack and condemn forcefully. No, not the terrorists. No, that would make sense. This is Trump we're talking about. He attacks the mayor of London. Of course, because after pissing off Paris and Germany last week, really all that was left from our list of most important allies was freaking the UK. So why not just make it a trifecta? Oh, it's just unbelievable. Now, it just so happens that the mayor of London happens to be Muslim, and Donald Trump doesn't think that, Muslims like us. In fact, he's pretty sure that Muslims hate us. And he's pretty sure that we shouldn't trust any Muslims, including Barack Obama, who he claimed was a secret Muslim. Okay. So anyway, the mayor of London tweeted back or issued a statement, via the world saying, we got things to do here. Because they asked him, what is your response to President Trump's tweet? President Trump tweeted out to the mayor of London, taking him completely out of context, that the mayor of London, obviously there, we can play it again, was referring to an increased police presence after the attack on the streets of London. And he asked the people of London not to be alarmed about the increased police presence, that these killers were dead, that the police reacted, that they were dead within 8 minutes of, them getting out of the van and starting to stab people, but that there would be an increased police presence in the city of London. And for London, that could be alarming because, their police are unarmed, except for the armed portion of the police. And for that, there is a special unit of police officers that are allowed to carry guns. And in the case of a terrorist act, those armed policemen were called out, and they fired what seemed to be, in England, an amazing amount of firepower. 50 bullets were fired, 50. And oh my God, for London, that was like record setting. Can you imagine that? Can you? So our president decided that he would take the mayor out of context and not express his condolences to London and not express. I mean, no. Instead, he decides to speak out forcefully against what really is the problem. The mayor of London. Why? Because the mayor of London wasn't present at the ceremony of the glowing orb when Trump was in Saudi Arabia touching the orb, you know, with all the Saudis. The mayor of London just so happens to be a Muslim, and Donald Trump doesn't seem to like Muslims unless, of course, they're oil billionaires, and he's doing a sword dance with them, and then he will sell you $110 billion worth of arms. I mean, his reaction on Twitter was so bizarre. No one knew the name of these attackers. No one knew if they were Londoners. No one knew if they were, residents of the UK. Where did they come from? Were they, nobody knew anything. And our president is embarrassing us yet again on the world stage. This was Trump after the attack. We must stop being politically correct and get down to the business of security for our people. Because where other people see tragedy, Donald Trump sees political opportunity with his lunatic base, who are out in full force in Portland. Did you see all the weapons that were taken from these protests in Portland? Oh, Portland, poor Portland. And then he tweeted, the mayor of London says there's no reason to be alarmed! Exclamation point. Of course, the mayor of London was expressly referring to the fact that Londoners could expect to see increased police presence. Not anything to do with the terrorist attack, which, by the way, he made a full, calm but strong, not speech, but he issued, he made a statement to the people of the UK. Here, I'll play the whole thing.
Well, there aren't words to describe the grief and anger that our city will be feeling today. I'm appalled and furious that these cowardly terrorists will deliberately target innocent Londoners and bystanders enjoying their Saturday night. There can be no justification for the acts of these terrorists, and I'm quite clear we will never let them win, nor will we allow them to cower our city or Londoners. Well, I've been in close contact with the Met Police Commissioner and senior officers throughout the night. 6 people have been killed, more than 40 have been injured and taken to hospitals across London. Some of them, I'm afraid, are critical. I want to say this, though. The emergency services reacted heroically and brilliantly last night. Not only did they tackle the terrorists, but they helped the injured. And as a result of their swift action, fewer people have died than would otherwise be the case, but also the severity of the injuries are less bad than they could have been. One of the great things about our way of life is our democracy. Our elections are a wonderful thing, and that's one of the things that these terrorists hate. And one of the things that we can do is show that we aren't going to be cowed is by voting on Thursday and making sure that we understand the importance of our democracy, our civil liberties and our human rights. My message to Londoners and visitors to our great city is to be calm and vigilant today. You will see an increased police presence today, including armed officers and uniformed officers. There's no reason to be alarmed by this.
Okay, you get his gist. You will see an increased police presence. There's no reason to be alarmed by this. Trump tweets, Mayor of London says there's no reason to be alarmed. Taking him completely out of context, this man obviously was referring to an increased police presence, but Donald Trump was completely wrong. And when that was explained to him, he decided he would remain completely wrong. How Trump? And then today he tweeted, quote, pathetic excuse by London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who had to think fast on his, it's not even English, no reason to be alarmed statement. Mainstream media working hard to sell it. Not even Donald Trump can convince me that Donald Trump is this stupid. He's trying, but he's not convincing me. Sadiq Khan had to think fast. For Trump to respond how he did, he had to stop thinking completely. I'm so embarrassed by him. I really am. He is literally thinking against reality. He is literally, truly doing this for his base. There is nothing he will not use for his political advantage. At this point, he is only talking to people who have absolutely no idea what is going on, because those are the only people who could possibly believe anything he says. It is an amazing thing. But he's lucky because his little 36% approval rating, that's what it is today. It's 36% is composed entirely of people who have no idea what is going on. It is an honor to the oblivious, that base of his. It truly is. His idiot tweeting has done more to undermine our standing in the world. And you know, when you ask people about his tweeting, like Kellyanne Conway, she's like, he has a constitutional right to do so. You ask people at the press briefing today. Okay, today we got that Huckabee girl. You know, with her cardigans. Yeah, we got her. And they asked her about, these tweets, and that Kellyanne Conway's own husband. It's true. Kellyanne Conway's own husband, George Conway III, who apparently was in line to be in charge of the Civil Rights Division at the Justice Department, but doesn't want to be. I mean, he can't even recruit people. Oh, that's another thing he's tweeting, that the Democrats are obstructing his confirmations. Do you understand that there are 422 positions for which Donald Trump has named no one? He is his own obstruction crew. 422 open jobs. He can't find anybody to take these jobs. There's nobody home at the FBI. The State Department is a shell. We don't even have an ambassador to London. We don't. It's unbelievable. We have no one. We have absolutely no one in this government doing any of the critical jobs that we need to be done, because nobody wants to work for him. We have no FBI director. Even Lieberman was like, I'm a no. Lieberman. So anyway, George Conway, who was Kellyanne's husband, he tweeted out, because Trump started tweeting about, we need a travel ban. I don't care what you call it. With this watered down version has got to stop, and we need to get the real one back. I mean, it's unbelievable. So George Conway said these tweets, this was his tweet. He said these tweets may make some people feel better, but they certainly won't help OSG, which is the Office of Solicitor General. That's the government lawyer who argues on behalf of the people of the United States to the Supreme Court, the OSG, the Office of Solicitor General. This is what George Conway wanted to be. He wanted to be Solicitor General. Anyway, he said these tweets may make some people feel better, but they certainly won't help OSG get 5 votes in SCOTUS, which is the Supreme Court of the United States, as you know, which is what actually matters. Sad. That's Kellyanne Conway's freaking husband. This is getting so twisted and so beyond belief and so out of the norm and so unbelievably bizarre. And just here was Kellyanne Conway on the TV.
And announcing why they decided not to prosecute. With this series of tweets. I mean, just a matter of taste and judgment and accuracy. Does the president owe the London mayor an apology for tweeting a political attack in the hours after this terrorist incident, and also misleadingly quoting him? Was that a mistake?
It wasn't a political attack, Savannah, and as was buried in that report, that one-sided report, here's the other side, that the president stands firm with the people of the UK. He spoke to the Prime Minister of the country, Theresa May, that same night, and again yesterday he announced his support for the UK people. I was in the Ford Gala when he said, we will get these people, bring them to justice.
Who did he say this to? Did you see him on the TV saying this? I didn't see him on the TV saying this. I only read his tweets. She was at the Ford Gala, where apparently he expressed it to her. So that makes it okay.
Bloodbaths have to stop.
Fair enough,
and
Kellyanne, but that was
let me finish, because
that was
you want to make this about something other than what it's about. You know, I'm just not going to allow. I'm not going to allow on the a day and a half after terrorists did it again, whether they're ISIS inspired or ISIS directed. They're
okay. We don't know. Just so you know, we don't know who these people are. I mean, we know 2 names now, but do we know whether or not ISIS? tried to take credit for it like 48 hours later. Someone said, yeah, sure, we'll say we did it. Nobody knows if this was ISIS or if this was just some crazy people that thought they were ISIS or wanted to be ISIS or just, no one knows, okay?
Savage murders. It's an evil slaughter, as the president said last night. I'm going to not let him be seen as the perpetrator here. For every time you said Russia, imagine if you said ISIS. Every time you say Twitter, imagine if you said terrorist.
But Kellyanne,
maybe we'd have a different type of vigilance.
He's setting the agenda. He's the president. He speaks. The reporters cover
and
what he says.
And what did he say to Theresa May? What did he say to Theresa May?
He did say that to Theresa May, but most of his quotes had to do with either his own political concern, the travel ban, of which he's been up having 4 more tweets about that this morning, and a misleading attack on London's mayor. So my question to you was simply, does he owe an apology to London's mayor for quoting him in a misleading and inaccurate way?
So we've got the 23rd ISIS-inspired or directed attack, taking innocent lives, children in Manchester, children in Nice, and we want to know, we want to put some blameworthiness here on President Trump. I'm just not going to allow it. Here's what he's doing as President of the United States and as Commander-in-Chief, standing firm because an attack...
He's standing firm. He's standing firm, everybody. Here's what he's doing. He's standing firm. If you ask a question about these inane and numerous and habitual, ridiculous, embarrassing tweets, which, by the way, I know, the word tweet makes it seem like a small bit, right? It makes it seem small. It makes it seem stupid. It makes it seem something like childlike. It makes it seem something teenagery. However, the president's tweets are part of the record, the presidential record of communications. And one day, these tweets will be in the, oh God help us, Trump Presidential Library. Oh yes, as part of the Presidential Records Act, every communication that the president has is available in his library. Now, of course, Trump's library will only be Trump ghostwritten books with his name and face on them, and these tweets. That's what will be in there. Whereas W had My Pet Goat and some paintings of himself in a shower. We do really well when we elect a Republican, don't we? It's just the pinnacle of, integrity all the time. This is sick. And her own husband just backstabbed her. It's House of Cards, everyone. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.